It seemed you responded pretty well on the last video with the drone confrontation, where I posted an uncut version, putting captions on so you would see the full event playing out like it was.
Du ved godt, du ikke må flyve med droner her, ikke?
Without me interrupting every 2 seconds explaining what's going on. I have some time to kill in the airport a little bit later today, so I thought I would make one more for you, and this time it was when I was out test flying the new DJI Mini 3 Pro, and I wanted to compare the camera quality against the Mini 2 and the Autel Nano Plus. And I did that in an early morning in a location in a parking lot next to where I live, remotely away from all the buildings that is around the area. So I thought I could be left alone to do my testing, but boy, I was wrong. By the way, if you have any additional questions about the DJI Mini 3 Pro, now is the time, as the sample that I have, the review sample that was kindly lent out to me by Droner.dk in collaboration with DJI, has been called back. So I don't have it maybe a couple of days more. So if there's anything that you would like me to look into before I hand the drone back, then it would be a good time to let me know. I was doing my testing there on the parking lot, and I was deeply concentrated on getting exactly the same frame from each drone so I could show you a comparison. I will link the video in the end card so you can actually see the comparison result for yourself. But then I noticed a car was parking very close to where I was doing the recordings, and as I've explained many times before, this can be two ways. Either it's somebody that wants to come and just have a friendly conversation with you about what it is that you're doing because they're generally interested, or it is a Karen or a Ken that wants to interfere with your flying. And in this situation, it was the last one. Pay attention to how offensive she actually was. She was not going to listen to anything that I was going to tell her about the legislations, etc. She was so convinced that I was doing something wrong that she would use the cell phone all the time, all over the place, to capture the crime so she could document it later. I have a very hard time understanding why people can react like that out of the blue, going to another person, interfering with what they're doing, and not even listening to sort of reasonable arguments about if it's allowed or not allowed. I do want to say legislation in Denmark is pretty wide, so there's absolutely no issues doing this. There was no laws broken. She was absolutely wrong. She was breaking the law, in fact, as she was interfering with me while I was doing an active flight. Let me play the version for you with the captions so you can judge for yourself.
And this one will allow me, basically, I think, to film. Nå, det er du sikker på? Hvor er du sikker på det fra?
I forhold til, hvor tæt man må være på bebyggelse.
Nu skal du se, nu lander jeg lige. Så kan vi godt lige tage en lille snak om det. Ja.
Du skal have min søn i skole.
Ja, men ved du hvad, så synes jeg, du skal gå ind på... Hvad laver du?
Jeg skal lige have billeder af min bil.
Nå, jamen det må du gerne. Men ved du hvad så? Så kører den begge veje, ikke? Det er godt. Ha' en god dag. Ja. Ved du hvad, må jeg sige noget til dig, inden du sådan...
Nej, jeg skal lige...
Ja, men lad mig lige give dig et tip.
For vi har snakket om det her efterhånden ret mange gange.
Jamen det er godt. Men gå lige ind på droneregler.dk, når du kommer på arbejde i nærheden af en computer, så vil du faktisk kunne se det. Ja, det er sjovt, det har alle. Men I aner ikke en skid om noget som helst.
So what do you think about this? Isn't it crazy that people can be so offensive, putting a phone up in your face while I'm doing an active mission? At some point she was so obsessed with this that she was actually going almost under a flying drone. I still think this situation was super funny, and I was expecting to get a call from the police at some point because she was so insisting in what she was doing. But I haven't heard anything from them, so I guess she went back and studied droneregler.dk and found out that I wasn't doing anything wrong. Are you interested in watching some of the other drone confrontation videos, as it seems to be a topic that is very, very keen to some of you? Then I've compiled a playlist with all the videos with the encounters that I've had, and you can access those through this card. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then feel free to give a like. If you didn't like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you around.